Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Show. How's everybody doing? Beautiful, beautiful. We've been having just an incredible time just learning from each other. Some stellar guests. Like, really, I'm so honored that you're here and you have faith in the show to share your journey. So thank you for, inviting me to be a part of it. So I have another Curly with me on the couch. She's another amazing woman. I met her last year in London, and we kept in touch, and she's got quite the story as well. So I'd love for you to meet the founder of Berhane Immigration and Settlement Services, Inc. Please put your hands together for Yerusalem Berhane. Good to see you.
Good to
Yes,
see you too.
thank you for making the trip from London. Now, just for
Pleasure.
clarification, not London, UK, the King's London, but London, Ontario.
Ontario.
Yeah,
The
because
forest city.
we've got international viewers, so we gotta
Yes,
be
yes.
clear with that, right?
Mhm.
Right. So tell me a little bit about, where you're from originally, and coming into London was your first place of just
Toronto, actually.
Toronto. Okay.
Yes. So I'm lucky to be from two beautiful countries, Eritrea and Ethiopia. So we,
Tanestalen.
yeah. Oh, Tanestalen. Yes, yes, Tanestalen. Good job. So yes, so we're privileged, to be from both countries, speaking two different languages. So I came here a long time ago, um, and yeah, in beautiful country here, and we started our families, and here we are today. Yeah,
Awesome. So you speak two languages. You speak Amharic and Tigrinya.
that's correct. Yes. So Tigrinya is the Eritrean main language, and Amharic is the Ethiopian main language. So we grew up speaking both languages. So when I first came to Canada, I immigrated myself, as I mentioned, many years ago to Toronto. And it helped me as I was going to school. It was great opportunity for me to be interpreting, right? So using those two languages. And at the time, there were not a lot. The community was not large to be able to go out and work as an interpreter.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I could set up my own time. I'm going to school. I'm able to speak Tigrinya and interpret for my community, and as well as Amharic. So yes, it's an amazing thing to know languages is a great thing.
It is a
Yeah.
gift. So how many languages do you speak?
Well, only three,
Only three.
English, yeah.
Okay.
But I wish I could speak French. Was one thing that I wanted,
Yes.
but unfortunately I didn't get an opportunity. And we did live in Italy for about a year. We did speak it, but then when you don't use it, I lost that language. But yeah.
It's in your long-term memory.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
When you hear it, it kind of comes back. We did go back about a year ago. So when you hear it, you can understand, but to be able to speak it, I'm like, yeah, no, it's not happening.
It's like me. I know some Italian, but it comes and it goes. But when I go in an Italian restaurant, it's like, Mamma Mia! You start talking the native language. Oh, she was Jamaican. Yes, so
Yes,
I
yes,
understand.
it's a beautiful language, though. Yeah.
It is so romantic.
Mm-hmm.
So your expertise in the immigration field, it spans over 2 decades, right? So tell us about the success stories. I'd love to hear how you
Yes.
impacted the lives of people who came through and
Mhm.
sought you for your services.
Yes. So it just, the clients that I work with, everybody's the end goal is the success, right? So I love that I get to work from refugees that are coming here, being sponsored by the families. So these people are at the refugee camps or in transition for 5 years, 8 years. So when you see them coming to Canada and landing and getting their landed paper at the airport, that's just the most exciting thing for me to experience, right? It's very gratifying to me and to their families, and we're changing their lives as well, right? Um, or international students, they come here, they spend so much money, and they're transitioning into permanent residency. So that's another success stories. And families reuniting, right? Some spouses would come here, and then they have to bring their, their other half, and also their children. So with my work, that's why I love it, and that's why I do what I do every day. I go to work happy and I work long hours too because I enjoy it. Is that you have different stories. You're dealing with different type of families or singles, whatever the case may be. So yeah, it's very exciting. I love it. Every day is a success thing for
Every day is a
us.
success for you, and you work very hard to tailor different immigration solutions.
Yes.
Can you think of one particular success story? I know you've had many, but there's one that kind of resonates with you.
Yes. So we do get, so I'll speak because everybody has kind of a way. So when they come to us, they say, well, I have no status and I didn't know and I didn't renew my work permit or study permit. Um, so they once they are out of status, if they got they get caught by CBSA, the next step is to be deported, right? So that's where you come in and you go, okay, what's the next solution? What can we do? And we assess them and say, okay, can you go back? Is there a harm if if you go back to your home country? And there is a category called humanitarian and compassion, and that's reserved
Is
for
that
if
for refugee kind
everybody.
of? Is that the same
No,
category?
so agency is mostly for people, especially if they have children and they have been here in Canada, so the children are kind of settled here. They can't, if taking this family out of Canada and taking them up back, whether they had their status or not, is going to affect the children. So HNC, which is short for humanitarian and compassion, is a way to change the status, and it takes them to permanent residency. So I have recently actually done a very difficult case where we had a child that came here as a 16-year-old, and because of the things that were happening back home, without having to mention a specific country, that we were able to get her to stay with her aunt on a humanitarian and compassion. And so what I mean to say is that when they're out of any other options, humanitarian and compassion is what we go with, and it's very evidence heavy, right? So we have churches writing letters, we have doctors writing letters, so it's kind of, and then it takes a long time, but at the end of the day, it's the most satisfying thing to see, because the next option is to go back home, and to get them to be here as permanent residents is very satisfying.
Very satisfying.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Asking for a friend
Yeah.
living in the States.
Yes.
They're a businesswoman, and they're thinking about migrating to Canada.
Yes.
What's the process? What would you tell them?
So it also, that person who's here, I would say the age, right? The education background, the assets, so we can look into different, because Canada has over 100 different categories, right? So everything plays. So what does your other half do if they're married? Do you have children? Is there that channel? How old are you? Because there is a category that's express entry, Canadian experience class, or the federal skilled work with their using their experience from outside Canada. But if they're older, then they lose points, right? So that's why we check with age, with education. So that's how I assess people. So normally we do a 15-minute discovery call, and then from there, if we see that there are options, then we go for a longer appointment, and we give them that kind of roadmap on where they can start or where they can go. And they can even come as investors, right? Canada does accept coming in as an investor, especially if you have an innovative idea. So yeah,
Right.
and we do need more women business owners. So yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, asking for a friend, another situation. This person went on vacation to a tropical location, and they met someone. They were smitten, and they have this relationship back and forth, right? So they believe that this is the one, and they want to get married. How would that process work to bring that person over to Canada?
That's actually one of my favorite situations, because I get to read their love stories, and and get to see their pictures from how they met, the honeymoon, the wedding. So it is good. So if the person here is a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident,
Mm-hmm.
and they can sponsor as long as they're working, and no criminal record, right? So they can bring their spouse as a spousal sponsorship.
How long does that take usually?
It depends on the country, right?
Okay.
So we get sometimes within a year that the application is completed. And also, if the person is a visa exempt from a
Mm-hmm.
visa exempt country, they can come here while the process is being pending,
Okay.
right? So yeah, do call me. I want to help them. I want to see that
You
story
want to
of
see
the love story, and yeah,
how
it's
you
my
brought them
favorite.
together? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
my favorite thing. Yeah,
So,
definitely.
living in well, you have two offices in London and Woodstock.
Yes.
So relatively, what is the distance between the two so that people have
About 45 minutes.
45 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's in the 519 area for
Yes.
those living in
Yeah.
Ontario, and so tell me some of the the highlighted services that you offer. We talked about some,
Yes.
but what do people regularly see you for?
Yeah. So the London is very diverse. It has grown a lot. So we see the spousal sponsorships. We see corporates, is people that have businesses and they cannot now with the labor shortage. A lot of people are trying to bring foreign talent, right? So we have businesses like that. We have international students, Fanshawe College,
Where are they from
Western.
usually?
So we do get a very diverse
Okay.
system. Whereas in Woodstock, it's more of an agricultural and manufacturing environment. It is growing too with its international students from Fanshawe as well, but it is different demographics that we work with, and I enjoy that a lot because it gives me that diversity with what I do. So I like my niche mostly is labor market impact assessment, assisting employees to bring in foreign nationals to work for their companies. And sometimes, if the business is owned by immigrants, they want to bring their relatives or they know somebody who can do really well in their business. So we help them with that. It's called a labor market impact assessment. I won't go too detailed into it, but it's an excellent path because then this person that comes in can only work with that specific employer, right? So there is no turnover, there is no training over and over. So it's an excellent system.
It
So
is.
that's what we work with. Yeah, and another thing that I want to mention also is that we also are co-founded, as you know, the Black, we call it Black Africanist because it's for Black immigration consultants, lawyers, and those that work with the schools. We call them RISAs. So this is to help because generally speaking, as immigration, the process you asked me how long it takes, and I said it depends on which country, is that for applications that are being processed out of Africa, we see that unbalanced processing time, right? So applications are delayed, applications are refused for no apparent reason. So we came together and we co-founded this nonprofit organization so we can advocate for our own people, whether they're
Mm-hmm.
refugees here in Canada or wanting to immigrate to Canada, just to provide them that just system of the immigration process. So yes,
Okay.
that's who I am overall.
Well, I love what you shared, and
Thank you.
I am an immigrant. My own story happened 3 years old from Jamaica, and my parents were invited as young adults to come to Canada through the immigration policy. So at that time, um, people from the Caribbean were invited to come to Canada, and I think they sought people like my parents who were skilled
Yes.
laborers. My
Yeah.
mother was a teacher, my dad professionals in sales and that. So yeah, that was quite an experience.
Those were the
The
good old days
Those are the
because
good old days.
immigration then was so much easier,
Yeah,
and now it gets tighter and
it's tighter.
but yeah, but
Yeah.
it's nice. It's good to be in Canada, giving opportunities because people can excel, right? That's how it gives us if you want to work hard.
Hmm.
Um, They do, and I love seeing our clients as well when they come here and they get into the system, they start their own businesses. It's just a fascinating thing to see.
It is. Can I ask you a
Yeah.
question? Can
Yeah.
I take a selfie with you?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Sorry. Here we go. Just put your head in here. All right. Just taking a selfie. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
Yeah, you're welcome. So tell us, how can we find you on social media?
Yes, so we're Berhane Immigration. That's the name of the business. You can go to our website, www.berhaneimmigration.com. We are also on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can find us on social media if you Google even Jerusalem or Yerusalem. My name is easy to remember, so you can find us that way as well.
Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank
Nikki.
you. Oh, fantastic.
You.
Please
Thank you
reach
very
out to
much.
Yerusalem Berhane.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.